Welcome back to Brain Driven Brands. This is Sarah Levinger's podcast. I'm Nate, your co-host. This is brought to you by Tether Insights because we're officially sponsored.
What?
And it's a sponsor that hits super close to home because it's actually Sarah's new business.
Is that allowed, do you think? Can I just sponsor my own content and be like, hey?
I mean, we know this one's already sponsored by Original Grain too, right? So
Truth. I mean, this is basically an Original Grain case study for the next, however long we just decide to do this. Yeah, 100%. Thank you. Welcome to the show, Nate.
Sarah has a business that helps you make a ton of money. Check it out.
I do. Well, we can talk about that. I need to do a full episode on it. I also need to do more promotions. We're gonna jump right in today because this is apparently sponsored by Tether, and I have another marketing quiz. Marketing quiz.
I love these.
Look, Homer, just take the test and you'll do fine. Balls.
Now I'm a little worried because, sometimes if you follow my tweets, you might know all of this stuff already. So I'm like, maybe don't read my tweets. So that
Me
we can
or
have
guests?
You in particular.
I don't think I follow
really
you.
everybody. Okay, all right. So how dare you? First of all, second of all, it's fine. I don't follow me either. So we're in the same boat over there. All right. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna give Nate context as to a study that I found that is fascinating, and I think everybody should test this particular marketing tactic, this psychology-based tactic. But he's not going to know what it is. And so I want to see if he can guess what it is. So this particular psychology tactic increases clicks by 3x.
Oh.
What is the specific thing that they are changing to do this?
Increases
3x.
clicks.
Increases clicks. So in experiments, 3 times more people clicked on an email and were 31% more likely to say they would buy just by changing this one little thing.
What's the medium here? Is this like email subject lines? Is like added call to actions?
Yes. How do I do this without giving it away? Okay, so this particular psychology tactic is changing something about the way something looks. The way something looks was changed. So they didn't change the offer. They're not changing any sort of messaging. They're not changing whether it's emotional or not.
I got it.
Okay, what is it?
Starting with a lowercase letter.
Oh, that's actually a really good guess, but no, that's not it. Really good guess though. Very solid. You're on the right trajectory.
So it's something like with the format, not necessarily the words.
Yeah. Formatting is able to increase clicks by 3x, and people are apparently 31% more likely to say they would buy. So purchase intent increases by 31% just by changing a little bit of formatting.
I don't know. I'm a big colon guy in my headlines. I don't know if that helps out. I'll be like new colon. Again, 2 new watches.
I'm sorry. I'm a 13-year-old boy. That's hilarious.
You were thinking colon like the...
That's immediately what ran through my head. I was like, colon? What are you talking about?
The button on the keyboard.
I
the eyes
was
of
I'm
an
glad
old school
you're
smiley face
prioritizing
when you do like colon parentheses.
Just glad you're prioritizing your colon health. Everybody, just eat more fiber is really what we're talking about today. Now, did I just tell you what it is?
Go ahead. Tell me what it is.
Okay. Italics. Using italics can increase clicks by 3x and increase purchase intent by 31% using italics. Now, it's a very specific type of italics.
Okay.
So we can dive into this. This specific research paper, which again, we'll link it in the show notes, but this specific paper is talking about the fact that I guess what they call extreme italics is what's driving this particular behavior. Anything up to 35 degrees and above. So for those who are not font nerds like I am, most italics usually slant at about a 12 to 16% degree area of degree. What do they call it? Angle of degree, right? 35% would be a lot,
so
very
slanty italics.
Extra slanty italics, apparently. This
feels like one of those things where you're testing me on how far I'll follow you. Because you're going to make me send a creative brief to my designer today and be like, hey, man, do an ad with extra slanty italics. And you're going to see me post it in a week and you're going to be like, can't believe that guy. Listen to me on that. This is
I
real?
need you to test it, though. I need
it's
you to
real?
test it. This is a real thing. It's a real study. This was by me, Jay Richardson. What is it? Published in Scientific Research, February 2020. A Journal of Retailing is where it was published. So, and I need you to test this because somebody on Twitter came at me, bro, and was like, did you test this before you posted this study for everyone to see? And I was like,
it's a study.
Sir,
You
it's
dumb bitch.
st-
Sorry, who was it before I called?
I don't know.
Okay,
It was just some random guy. And he was like, did you even test this yourself before you randomly posted the study? And I was like, sir, do you know how studies work?
Study. Yeah.
Usually
I'll test
there's
it and then I'll tweet it that guy.
that study things in a test before they publish it.
Listen,
now,
ecom Twitter does not really understand
Agreed.
tests, myself included.
Grain of salt, everybody. There are
Shane
lots of
keeps
studies out
yelling
there.
at me about statistically significant CRO tests, and I'm like, we're making more money, dude. I don't care. But no, people, I think people know that everything we talk about on this podcast starts with like a research-backed, published, peer-reviewed
I'm just
study.
like, I'm very careful with the ones that I share because again, in any area where humans are involved, there is a slight risk of people being shady with data. And there's lots of studies that they've had to like basically recall, right? Because it wasn't done correctly. But I try really hard to make sure that the ones that I'm sharing are incredibly well vetted. This is a part of 7 experiments with 2,026 participants.
All right.
I've got that's a pretty good
questions on this because
okay.
I understand half of it. I understand it increasing clicks just on the theory of like it's probably a great pattern breaker. Like it looks different than everything out there.
Yep.
But increasing intent to purchase and increasing conversions is like crazy. That's sorcery.
Just off of an italicized font.
Yeah. How is it like? Did they give a reason as to why that makes more people likely to buy? I'll put our whole site in italics. I don't care if that's what it takes.
I mean, please don't do that because it would look so weird. It would be an interesting test, but it would be weird as hell. So, okay. I get most of the stuff that I find is off of a site called Science Says. This is fantastic. It's by what is that guy? Thomas McKinley is the guy who runs this, right? So he's a very prominent researcher and takes almost everything he's got on here off of like Harvard and Business Review. Like he's working with some universities, so it's not like he's just making this up, which is great. He also has like an entire site that's dedicated to showing here's the limitations of the study. Here's what they were going after. Here's what they were trying to find. And then this is why it works. So I always go down to this section of why it works. And according to Thomas's research, these italicized fonts, when they slant so much to the right, it's implying kind of forward movement. So psychologically, the font is basically leading you to the next logical step of whatever they're trying to tell you it is, right? So subconsciously, you link the movements to like forward movement in time or forward movement in behavior.
God, our brains are so dumb.
Our
brains are so dumb that they're like, oh no, we're following this way. Oh no.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. We're like following
and then you bought something.
Just by like reaching the fonts for it. So apparently
that's unbelievable.
This is literally just because the brain goes, oh, forward font, forward movement. I should probably do something with this, which is bonkers if you think about it, because like it's kind of tapping into this idea that our eyes just track to the next thing and the brain just follows it. Whatever it does, it's just kind of following. Same thing happens in cars where you're just following the line of cars. What if the car in front of you is like going the wrong way and everybody in the line is just following? We're just going because the forward movement is moving that direction. Same thing with fonts.
That's a little scary.
Isn't it great? I love science. And I'm terrified as well.
Wow. Okay. All right. So now I'm thinking, where can we put italic fonts? Because I don't think you can do it in like Facebook captions. I don't think you can do it in ads.
No.
I don't think you can do it in emails. It has to be like either on your site or like in creatives, like in the graphics.
Yes. Yes. I think especially this was testing obviously like email headlines and email context and copy. Their examples are almost all ads though. So like they have an Old Navy ad that shows this kind of like forward facing slant. That's a little bit more than italicized usually. I think you could put it basically anywhere and test to see if it would work.
I'm about to send the most unhinged email to my Klaviyo rep and be like, hey, I need to write subject lines in italics, specifically at 35 degrees.
35 degrees.
Can you make it happen?
Can you generate that for me?
Drinking on a Friday afternoon already.
Oh my God.
Can I see some of the ads?
Yes. Do you want me to show you? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see if I can just quickly share this screen. Yeah. So, and this is like the weirdest part is it just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it should work. And this is the first time like Sarah's been a little incredulous. I'm like, does this actually work? So, okay, let me scroll down. So this is what he's talking about. So regular, right? Where it's just basically just straight up and down fonts. This is what they want you to do with. This is just like a little extra of this slant. The ads that they're referencing here is this. It doesn't look like, I mean,
it's
obviously
slanted though.
It doesn't look like an extreme slant to me. So this is an Old Navy ad. It's got 2 bars of green on it. It says big 40% off everything in the center of the ad. But all of the text on here, with the exception of this shop sale at the bottom, all of it is this italicized kind of font.
Well, we'll know soon because I'm about to go tell Chris, like, hey, let's go take some of our best ads, italicize the shit out of every character on there, and see what happens.
I think you should. Because if you can actually increase clicks by 3x and increase purchase intent by 31% just by changing it to italicized font, why not? Why not?
Yeah, I'm going to feel so dumb if it increases revenue by 30%.
I hope to God it does. Wouldn't that be the funniest thing ever? Again, this all comes down to the psychological things we've been talking about on this podcast for forever, which is humans are very sensitive to things.
Very
sensitive to things that we don't even like understand why they would be sensitive to that, or like just random things in the room, things that you're currently breathing in, like smells, sounds, like just humans are just sensitive little creatures. So stuff like this, even though it sounds dumb, I'm like, I would test it.
All right, listeners, you're getting homework from me this week. Everyone listening, go take 1 or 2 or 3 of your best performing static ads.
Yep.
Italicize the headlines and copy on them. Yes. And we'll all run them together.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Tweet it at us when you post them.
Yes.
And then in like a month, we'll do a follow-up. We're due for a follow-up episode, by the way.
We keep talking about
there's been a bunch of stuff I've tested in the last 45 days that has worked out. So we got to let everyone know, like, hey, if you thought we were bullshitting the first time,
we tested it.
We crushed all of our Q4 goals. So
guy who came at me this week, we test this stuff. Okay. Yeah. It's not like we just tell people and then walk away. Anyways.
Are you getting haters on Twitter, by the way? Because I have one.
I don't get many, but mostly because I think there's not a lot of people that understand psychology in depth. So I think they don't come at me as hard. Go try these italics.
Firearms.
Tell us how it works for you. Co-host Nate, where can people follow you? They want to find your Ranger.
At Nate Lagos on Twitter, but only if you're going to be nice to me. And then you can listen to the Tactical and Practical podcast, whether you want to be nice to me or not. I don't get comments on there, so you can be as mean as you want if you listen to that.
I mean, they could review it. So don't be mean in the reviews, though. Like, be nice, be kind. Also, review this podcast. That would be really nice.
Yeah, drop us a quick 5-star review, guys.
Yes. Okay, this is also sponsored by Tether. As Nate says, I'm going to do a whole episode on what I'm building over at Tether Consumer Insights. But we are a D2C consumer insights brand. We are using all kinds of the latest science to help you discover exactly what your customers need from a subconscious emotional level, so you can market better and really profit faster. How's that for a pitch?
Love it.
I did it.
Is this an extension of all the work you've done for us for the last couple of years?
It is. It really is. You guys have actually informed a lot of like the products that I'm currently using. So I appreciate your help.
Let's go. And I'm still unpaid. Crazy. All right. Good episode. See you guys next week.
The Brain Driven Brands podcast is part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network.